Hello and welcome back. This video is going to be focused on the ideal gear setups for what me and Nick plan on doing for League's Trailblazer. So Nick's here for this video.
Hello?
I'm going to have an image on the screen, but you'll just see me doing some sepulcher in the background too, just to have something back there so it doesn't get too boring to look at. So I got my melee, mage, and range setups here, and there's one big sore thumb sticking out, and that's the fact that I have the crystal bow there instead of the blowpipe. A lot of people have criticized the fact that the blowpipe's going to be hard to maintain without the desert. We'll talk about that when we get there, but the setup's pretty good. Yeah, it's a cut in DPS, but we'll start with the melee gear. So most of this gear is, actual best in slot strength, Blade of Saildor, the Berserker Ring, Dragonfire Shield, Amulet of Torture. The DFS is actually not the best if you have Asgarnia, but we're not going to have defenders. Okay, so Nick, what's that other shield that gives a strength bonus we can get early on?
I think it's the Obsidian Shield in Karajama, so we'll probably use that as an early boost for our strength bonus.
Yeah, one major benefit that the Dragonfire Shield is going to have is, stab bonus with the Abyssal Dagger against Vorkath. This will be our anti-fire protection with that, so we'll keep our strength bonus. It's only +2 over the Obsidian Shield, but it's still obviously an upgrade.
We'll probably also be using the Abi Cape before we get our Fire Cape as well.
Yeah, there's a couple of things there. When we're actually fighting Vorkath, we'll probably use the Ardawn Cloak, Ardoin, because of the stab bonus, but for general use, this is what looks best to me. Yeah, I know I have the Obsidian body instead of the fighter torso. The torso gives more strength bonus, but unless it's a task, Nick, I don't know if we plan on doing Barbarian Assault unless there's tasks related.
I'm assuming there's going to be a task, but it might necessarily be the Fire Torso. It might be maxing all our levels or something like that.
No, I know there's a requirement to buy a granite body from there too, so we'll probably have to do it, but me and Nick will make up a two-person team. We'll just need to find 3 more. So hopefully we can get some people together to help us with that. Maybe some of my clan mates. So other stuff in the melee setup. Blade of Saildor. That's going to be an endgame grind. Again, this is endgame setup. So I've done Gauntlet. Nick has not done Gauntlet. He hasn't done the high-level elf quests. He hasn't been as much of an active player, but obviously enjoys doing the leagues. So that's why, we're theory crafting so hard on this is for Nick, this is actually going to be an opportunity to practice some of that endgame content he hasn't gotten to in the normal game because the grind is just, some people don't have the time in the day to do it. So some of you guys might actually be able to get to try new content. Like, I haven't tried Theater of Blood. And at the end of this, I don't think I'm actually going to choose Mauritania. So I'll talk more about plans in the future. But Regen Brace, we don't have access to Barrows gloves. That's pretty much going to be best in slot for us. We can plan around getting rune gloves, but we'll talk about that in a little bit. And then rune boots. We don't have access to the wilderness. We don't have access to Asgarnia the way we're going. So is God Wars Dungeon the wilderness one in the wilderness? I don't know. There's a wilderness God Wars dungeon, but is it in the wilderness for this league? I guess that's something I haven't thought about or looked at just because I'm not going to be able to access it anyway. But so that's the melee setup. The biggest grind there, I think, is going to be Blade of Saildor. There are replacements for the Dragonfire Shield, but the Blade of Saildor is a big upgrade as far as accuracy and strength bonus. So,
the drop rates will probably help us getting some of these items too.
Yeah, normally that Blade of Saildor is a long grind, and also Corrupt Gauntlet's gonna be easier in the league because of the combat relics. But let's move on to Mage. There's a couple things you for sure recognize there, Nick, even though you haven't been an active player. So the hat, body, legs, and boots. Me and Nick have been playing for a long time. What year do you think we started, roughly?
We started, I believe, shortly after the Scythe or the Bunny Ears.
Yeah, right before, honestly, we played before RuneScape 2. We were there for party hats, right? We just didn't know they were a thing. I'm pretty sure we were there for that. We were young, we were kids. But yeah, looking at that Mystic, I don't even think was in the game when we started playing.
I can't recall.
Magic used to have such awful equipment values, but yeah, Mystic seems kind of underpowered now, but that's pretty much our best in slot unless we're gonna grind out for third age mage. I don't know. It's hard to find good Magic gear unless you're playing in Mauritania. Wilderness has access to Laron's keys, which you can get better mage robes, and then Desert can get infinity robes, but none of them give strength, magic strength. They're just accuracy, so I don't know how big a deal those things are. What we do have is that occult necklace. That gives percent damage boost. Same thing with the tormented brace. So Nick has not done the tormented gorillas. We won't have to do monkey madness too, but that's something I'll probably sit down and make sure he knows how to do, because those Z-Knights are going to be an important grind.
Yeah, we'll need a few of them probably.
Yeah, Nick's used to the Fury being the best in slot for just about everything, huh? So then we've got the Ardoin Cloak, which is really going to be our replacement for the Wilderness Capes. It does give a magic attack bonus as well as a stab and prayer bonus. Toxic Trident's a no-brainer. It's pretty much the best magic DPS in the game for single target besides Sanganesti. And like I said, neither of us are probably going Mauritania in the long run. That Ancient Wyvern Shield, just unnecessary. That's the Dragonfire Shield counterpart for magic, Nick. There's Wyverns on Fossil Island that can drop that instead of a normal Draconic Visage, and it's basically the magic version. So that's probably an item he's never seen before, but it's a little obscure. People don't typically use that, I don't think, for a lot of content in the game. I mean, there's just the Mage's Book that's easier to get, or the ward, the not Malediction ward, I think it's Odium. Odium, I think, is the magic one. I could be wrong about that. I might just be mixing it up. But then the Seer's Ring. So magic is pretty straightforward. The Trident of the Swamp's most important. Then we've got the Occult and that bracelet. And honestly, Occult, the bracelet, and the Trident of the Seas are all Kandarin. You're giving up on some crazy good magic DPS if you just don't take Kandarin. That's part of the reason I'd be so surprised if
and
people
we got the imbued rings there too in Kandarin, so that's gonna help as well.
Yeah, that Seer's Ring makes the smallest difference out of the three. Berserker and Archers are the best, but it's still a +8 magic bonus. Yeah, it's pretty good. We don't even have to waste time in Nightmare Zone imbuing them. We just get to pay gold for that. That'll be kind of nice. The AFK experience would have been cool too, but all right, now this last one. Trying to think. Yeah, you definitely haven't seen the Crystal Armor. Crystal Bow was pretty much the best thing in the game. Do you remember playing Castle Wars as kids and being intimidated by the Crystal Bow? Because I remember that.
I do remember some people using it from time to time in Castle Wars.
It just seems so darn strong at the time. People would be hitting you from so far away. What's neat about the Crystal Bow is it's got the same attack range as the Twisted Bow. If you plan on doing the Inferno, you would be hard-pressed to actually complete it without having the Crystal Bow, just because of the attack range for actually taking down Zuck. So, I don't know why I have the range cape here, but it's ammo saving effect. Even though me and Nick aren't going to be able to get the Ava's device, we could use the blowpipe and have the ammo saving effect. It does give a prayer bonus, so that's really going to be our best in slot, is the prayer bonus for range. You take a look at the Crystal Armor, it's pretty much Armadillo. It gives you a prayer bonus. It gives you the same ranged attack bonuses. Not exactly. It's really close, but it gives you prayer bonus a little higher than Armadillo even. Necklace of Anguish is a boost. Those cute little green boots. Nick, we're going to get those from Medium Clues, and we were talking about it earlier, and I started actually taking a tally of the Medium Clues we can complete if we choose Fremenic, Kandarin, Elfland, and it's almost 3/4. It's like 3/4 of the steps. There's pretty good odds when we get Medium Clues we'll be able to complete them, so what I would do, and what I think you should do too, Nick, is if we get Medium Clues, try to save up caskets, and then open them once we have the drop rate relic. Right?
Yeah, if that applies to that would be good.
It does, yeah. All clue uniques apply with those drop rate relics. So,
and it'll be interesting to see what clue relics there are this league as well. I think there will probably be one, but I don't think it's going to be the same as it was last league.
Yeah, it definitely won't be number like that. Maybe it will be identifying a key piece like ranger boots and equipping that. I just don't know. Nick had the idea that there might be a task where you have to recite whatever out of the prayer book. I guess it would be a prayer then. But reciting out of any one of the prayer books in, I believe that'd be Fremmy then, because that's the lighthouse. But yeah, that would be one that requires easy clues, and easy clues, the only drawback is Asgarnia. If you don't take it, is going to be a lot of the steps, but medium clues should be a little easier. Medium clues we can still grind for the god pages. So last thing there, which is kind of funny, is the black d'hide vambraces, and I guess that's where we'll kind of wrap up the conversation here. One thing before that, the crystal armor, if you're wearing all of it, gives a big accuracy bonus and a little bit of a DPS boost to the crystal bow. So it really does, it makes it competitive with the blowpipe. Blowpipe's still almost like a 40% increase if you're using rune darts. So I say competitive kind of conservatively there. It's not really going to be competitive with the blowpipe DPS, but the range is what's going to make it valuable in this situation. There's some content, specifically Inferno, where the range is super important. But those black d'hide vambraces, those really are our best in slot. It's going to be hard for us to do hard clues, so that's why we cut out the blessed d'hide, because we ain't going in the wilderness. It's just not worth it, and hard clues have a lot of wildy steps. So
yeah, and I think Barrow's gloves won't be available. Some combination of areas might give rune, but I don't think that would be in the areas that we're planning on doing.
I'm guessing rune is going to require desert because of desert treasure being one of the major pieces. Well, no, desert treasure is just to be able to fight the final boss. I don't know. We'll have to take a look at it. I know, like,
Asgarnia would probably be a big one.
Yeah, Evil Dave too. That would require the desert. There's definitely a few that we can't do. No one's going to be able to get Barrow's gloves. Rune's going to be best. And yeah, I think Asgarnia is going to be the one that lets you get rune. But we're just going to plan on black d'hide vambraces. What's the one prayer from Blessed Vambraces going to do? Not a whole lot, especially if that tier 6 relic with the sapping is actually, strong. If it restores prayer points at a decent rate. Heck, the prayer gear I already have listed here might be top of the line. But any of these builds, you can add in a blessing. I don't know how easy it's going to be to get a blessing. I know they're not that rare, but it's just one prayer bonus. Ammo, if you're using crystal bow or the blowpipe, you're not really going to be using ammo in the ammo slot. But yeah, that's roughly it for this video. We got a couple things we're going to talk about coming up. One of them is the gloves. We're going to find a combination for that. Nick, why don't you give a brief description of what you've been working on, the fishing thing?
Yeah, we're thinking about making a tool here for fishing, including where to buy the equipment, such as fishing rods and nets, where to buy bait, as well as what fish appear in what area.
Yeah, there's actually a surprising amount of limitations on that stuff. And so Nick's been making a tool that's just combinations of those things. So that's on a Google Sheet. So we'll share a version of that off of our S'more Games board account and just link it in the description so that anyone else can access it too if they want to. Make a copy of your own and use it for when you're actually during the leagues. So yeah, that wraps this video up. Hopefully you see us again soon. Trying to do at least a few videos a week. Try not to get too spoiled when I do daily ones all the time, but that's just when I have ideas and time. So, all right. See you guys later.